We are officially 100% live, I think. We're here in the studio, everybody. Welcome. It's a very special occasion today. As you can see, there are more people than normal in the studio. But as always, I've got to say, it's me. It's your best friend on the internet, Martin, the host of this stream, our Animal Crossing Island Tour stream. And as always, I'm joined by the Mayor of Asstown himself, David Thayer, who I'm angling the camera at right now. How's it going, David?
Hello, very well, thank you.
And today we're joined by two very special guests, two stream favourites, because we're here to celebrate 6 whole months of Animal Crossing. Before we get into talking about where our lives have gone in 2020, I'm going to introduce first of all to my... to my left... To my left, sorry, I still get my left and right mixed up, is Philippa, two-time stream guest and the resident representative of Almond. Philippa, how's it going?
It's me. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, wonderful to be here, and your beautifully decorated studio.
Thank you very much. It's changed a lot since you were last here, I think. My Pet Roxy in the chat says 6 months, it's felt like a decade. It truly has. And to my right is another two-time stream guest. In fact, you're both now three-time stream guests. It's Ed, also aka Mayor Sailor, Resident Rep Sailor. I've forgotten which you prefer, but either way, he is here. I was about to say in the flesh, in the kind of virtual flesh. It's Ed.
Hello. Hiya, how's it going? Yeah, Mayor Sailor.
Mayor, even though you...
I don't have any truck to this resident rep.
Maybe it's a bit like being a president, where even after, when your president's the end, you still get to be called president, whatever.
Yeah, it's for life. It's a title for life.
Exactly, guys. So we've got to kick off with the very important discussion point, which is, of course, it's autumn / fall, if you prefer to call it fall. How do we feel about fall? First of all, gonna kick that over to Philippa. How do you feel about the expression fall?
If I heard somebody calling it fall from the UK, I would be a bit shocked and sickened. It makes me think more of fashion or something. If someone was to say fall, maybe.
It's the fall winter collection.
No, that's still autumn winter, isn't it? No, there's no excuse.
Ed, how do you feel about fall?
I'm more of an autumn kind of guy.
It just feels, it's like one of those things. It's very strange, isn't it? Because so many, I think we're all young, hip and happening folk. Our lexicon is chock full to the brim of cool Americanisms, but for some reason it just feels a bit weird to call it fall. I don't know why. It feels maybe a little bit pretentious. I don't know. I think in Frasier still says autumn, which I think isn't meant to signal his pretentiousness. So I don't know where we...
Very Frasier-y.
Let's face it, autumn is a more pretentious word. I mean, it's longer. It's got an M and an N at the end of it. It's hard to spell, especially for dyslexics. So, I can appreciate why the simplicity of fall. It does describe, the falling of stuff that happens in autumn. I could appreciate it.
It's very poetic in a way. Welcome to the poetry chat. Welcome to the language podcast in which we discuss language. No,
Spend the next 2 hours talking about the fall.
Welcome to our. So we're going to figure it out. We may change to a music podcast. We may change to a linguistic podcast. But right now, this is an Animal Crossing autumn season podcast. How's everybody getting on with autumn? Because there's 4 of us, and we can't. I'm gonna aim my question tonight. Shrinky, how have you found fall so far?
Well, we're kind of easing into it, aren't we? I mean, I think we're all looking forward to the day we start seeing those brown leaves falling and the general kind of autumnal atmosphere happening. But I've enjoyed the. Have I enjoyed the scarcity of acorns and bone cones? I don't know. They're more of a challenge to collect than I expected, especially given the whole egg situation back at Easter.
That's a good point, actually.
The eggs, not the same at all as the eggs, is it?
No, you have to really work for them.
You do. But am I wrong? Or in summer, were the summer shells pretty obscure at first, and you'd get like one a day, and at the end they were just everywhere? Or is that just me?
No, I
Because
felt like that as well. Yeah, definitely. They seem to be. They seem to turn up on the beach all the time.
yeah.
But you can't just with the acorns, like you can't just shake the same tree over and over, which is quite good. But
I didn't
yeah,
know that.
you can just and eventually it will drop one, but you end up
Yeah,
with
it's like a bit of a test of like how long are you willing to keep going for, and how many sticks are you willing to pick up before you give up? Because sometimes it takes ages.
Yeah, exactly.
I haven't shaken a single tree yet out of fear that I'll be disappointed. But that's a hot tip, knowing that you just go a fear, and a fear of wasp. Like maybe I can catch a wasp like 1 in 20 times, maybe 1 in 20. It's not a good situation.
I'm like 1 in 50 for wasps. I'm terrible at catching wasps.
We need to have a challenge. Actually, one of the reasons that I haven't been shaking trees is because some of my trees are cordoned off, like you can't get to them, and which we will find out tonight as we're going to go roaming around my island. More about that in a second. And so I don't have the furniture related Nook Miles like awards for the tree furniture, because I never shake the trees, because I worry that the one that has the furniture in is going to be enclosed.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't have any of those awards because I'm just terrified I'm going to get wasped.
I like the fact that you can make medicine out of the wasp's nest and some weeds, though. It feels like the solution is always there if you need it, even if you're on one of the Nook Miles tours.
Wait, you can do what now? You can make medicine. Is
Yeah.
that a recipe?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
What?
With the
It's
wasp
like one of the
nest.
best recipes you get.
Is it?
Yeah.
You were probably
Wow,
so
I've
upset about
already-
being stung, you missed one of your villagers come up to you and offer you the recipe.
Oh, I was binning all the wasps' nests. I just thought it was nothing. Oh no! I've actually learned. Streams are going 10 minutes. I've learned something.
This is a learning stream, everybody. Speaking of learning, the people are coming up for new names for the seasons in the chat. People I know, well, Frank has suggested that winter should be known as fallen. People I know has suggested grow, hot, fall, and cold. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I think summer should be lounge.
lounge.
Oh no, Alexis didn't get the medicine recipe for so long because she very rarely would talk to her villagers with wasp face. Too embarrassed about the stinging. I, however, would just go around with I like having the wasp face. It makes me feel like I'm a boxer that's gotten out of a particularly robust fight.
Gives you an edge.
Yeah, I welcome it. Little change of face, why not?
Exactly. We should. I hope for more facial changes in the coming months, but we'll get onto that topic later. So we've got some news tonight on the stream. This is going to be our only stream this September because we're going to take a break until October. We are going to go away, have some IRL adventures maybe, and also we are going to come back with a whole new selection of island / repeat visits to old favourites. I know Philippa is working on something, which I don't know if you want to say anything about tonight. Maybe it'll come in conversation. And also, while we're away, we will finally be placing the travel guide entries onto the website because it's my fault. I haven't gotten around to doing it yet. But we'll show the travel guide slide later in the stream. If you still want to take part, we still would love to have your entries. Anyway, everybody, here's the real thing that we're here to chat about tonight. And it's 6 months of New Horizons. Where's the time gone? Shrinky, does it feel like 6 months to you?
Yes. I know exactly where the time's gone. It's gone on my sofa.
You could account for every minute.
Yeah. Well, I think like you, Ed, I have checked in. I think I've only actually missed one day of Animal Crossing.
Okay.
I
have not missed a day, I have to say.
Well, yeah, there you go. So I really have accounted for that time in Animal Crossing, but I've not been playing it intensely. I usually just kind of have my routine. The thing I'm doing at the moment is sweeping the beaches in search of Gullivar, because I really want to get more piratey costumes or piratey items.
I haven't even met Gulliver yet because I haven't been playing on weekdays.
He's really elusive.
It feels like everybody's elusive now. I switched, although I felt really, really bad yesterday because I switched it on and I had a special guest, but it was Label, and I just kind of thought,
Just turn the switch off again.
Yeah, Label's one of the worst ones, maybe.
I'm just like, come on. It's like your fashion. Firstly, you've got confused branding. Is it Label or is it Label or Label? And secondly, I've got a ton of clothes. I don't want. I get that. She always wants to palm me off of her clothes which have her personal brand on it. It's like, Label. I make my own style.
I think they're very sophisticated, which is why I don't wear them.
I guess I should chat about. I guess this is a great time to segue. So what we're going to do tonight is to celebrate the 6 months. What we're going to do is we're going to have a little chat about various things to do with our first 6 months in the game as we go around my island, Steen. Now I've got to warn everybody that I'm going to turn the lights on as well. I'm going to warn everybody that it's my island is a bit of a mess. It's very incomplete. So as we go around and chat about Animal Crossing, I'm looking for tips. I'm looking for help. I mentioned before the stream starts, the island is very much like me. It's kind of an incomplete project of which I have very many, but the whole island is like just a series of incomplete projects, which you'll see. I often struggle with getting things over the finish line, and there's going to be plenty of non what do you call the thing at the end of the finish line? Ribbon. Plenty of ribbons that are still intact at the end of my finish lines. Anyway, this is a bad analogy, everybody. Who wants to come look around my house?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wait, I need to get out of the chair. Why can't I?
Taking a seat with the mum cushion.
It's Mum's new cushion.
Oh, I like this one.
Question is, does everybody have different mum cushions?
Yeah, the mum stuff is always. I don't know how many different varieties there are, but there's always a bunch of different ones. The one I got was like a sort of embroidered pattern, whereas yours looks more like it's like a quilted flower, isn't it?
I guess my mum loves me more than your mum. No, embroidery is harder than quilting, surely.
Well, it's not about the level of difficulty. It's just a different style of thing, isn't it?
The level of love is what I'm interested in.
Well, yours is certainly brighter than mine and many patterns. Mine's a little, shall we say, classier.
Oh, what I want to know is how much do Mum's cushions go for on the black eBay market of Animal Crossing?
It must be a lot. It must be on Nookazon.
Nookazon, yeah.
A mum cushion, it's
200
kind of a one-off item, isn't it?
200 NMTs, probably. I don't know.
I always get 2 because Luke has an account on the game as well, but he's not playing it, so I go and steal his stuff.
Wait. First question: does he get a different cushion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's
If you make multiple people on your island, and then turn up as them, they'll have the post as well. Mum's going to send them a thing too, and then you just simply open it up, walk over to your own house, drop it in front of your front door, log off. It's there. It's yours now. Pick it up.
Right. Second question: do you have this? Is it the same mum?
I think it's one overarching mum that is just
different.
One giant mum.
Figure.
Like
7 different cushions. There must be different mums.
Wait, is that like the big island lady in Moana? Spoilers.
I think it's like that, yeah. And she's busy crafting stuff for all her many children, and sending them out.
Roxy's calling her the hive mum.
Yes, exactly.
Also, the cushion on Roxy's side is a patchwork check pattern. Everybody, the studio. We all know the studio well. It's full of relics of our adventures. So I'm going to take you up to the main area in the house. It's incomplete. It's the first of many incomplete projects you will see on the island. It's my clothes shop, which is not very populated. It's only kind of half done. And it's not very homely at all. and I kind of want to take the other player house that I have on the island and kind of make it into maybe a shopping mall, maybe. And this is like a kind of test for that. As you can see, it's very incomplete. Question.
I think it looks good.
It's awesome.
You don't
Yeah,
want
I
it to
love
be
it.
too grand.
This
As
is-
Mary Queen of Shops would say, you don't put all your stock out on the shop floor.
That is true.
Yeah, it's a boutique. But you've got a good range of trainers already.
Oh yeah, these are all the good trainers. The thing is this almost doesn't correspond. I felt really compelled to do this, but it doesn't really correspond to anything. I'm not like a shoe collector in real life. You know, like some people get really into like getting like the rare trainer / sneaker drops. It's not something I'm really into, but I just felt like once I realised you could put things on the wall like this, I just thought, well, you know, why don't I have a clothing shop? And I do really like sportswear, I guess. So it felt like it's a place to put all the baseball jerseys and stuff like that. But yeah, this is Incomplete Project number 1.
I like it.
What's the wallpaper? That's cool. It looks cool with the shoes, like with the
Yeah, I think it's called pegboard. It might be called
pegboard, yeah.
red
Okay.
pegboard,
Works
yeah.
well for them.
Because originally I was like, oh, maybe I should do a comic shop, because if you've never heard this on the stream before, which you may have guessed by the fact that so many people on the stream are in comics. I'm from comics originally, but then I thought it's going to be hard to do comic shop because I don't think comics even exist in the game. Manga does, so you could do a manga shop, I guess. But anyway, I suppose actually to do that you could use the tubs of LPs as like comics boxes, I guess.
Yeah.
You can customize the outside of those as well with custom designs.
Perfect. That's what we need.
Alexis has also thought of making a comic shop store. We should have like maybe we should have a challenge where there's a theme that everybody designs around. And then we could like
that's a good
compare.
idea,
That's
yeah.
quite a cool idea for when we return. Somebody table that idea. Question for everybody in terms of the game is like, how do you feel like your relationship with your house has changed now that in this game there's so much else to design, or do you still kind of feel like the house is the most special place because it has the most customization options? I'm gonna angle that question at Ed.
Yeah, I feel like in this game I actually spend more time doing stuff around the island. Actually, like I feel like I've sort of haven't changed my house a ton since I got the rooms like how I wanted them to look like. And I feel I don't spend a lot of time in my house compared to other games. So yeah, I think that the exterior stuff has kind of taken which I guess is natural, but it was a big new feature, right? So it's kind of inevitable that was going to be the case.
We're all gonna jump on it.
But I can kind of see that players, and to be honest, I only really started playing with New Leaf. I think probably players who've been playing for longer maybe see the house as the focal point. I know, having been to David's Island, I know he spent a lot of time with his house compared to other parts of the island. I mean, my last one went was like a month ago or something.
That has not changed.
Yeah, but you kind of said to me at that time that was because you felt like that was a focal point for you, which I could understand. If you've been playing the game for longer, that was always the focus of the older games, right?
It's just what comes naturally to me. So I find it harder to imagine outdoor spaces in compared to like just all the different things you can do, especially because the wallpaper and flooring options are so great. It always feels like you can theme things around those quite easily inside, but then you can't use them outside.
Roxy's made a like interesting point on the chat where actually with this one, I'm reading the comment. Actually with this one, I've been working towards trying to make practical spaces in my house, and I think that's definitely something that I feel freed. I haven't done it personally, but it's something that I feel freed up by in this. Whereas like, because there's so much to do outside, and you can make spaces special outside, maybe people feel less inclined to do gimmicky things in their house like me. Speaking of gimmicky things, everybody, here's a room that has nothing in it. It's as I mention almost every week on the stream, in New Leaf, I was desperate to get this wallpaper. I think I maybe had this wallpaper in either the original Animal Crossing, GameCube version rather, or in City Folk maybe. I never got it in New Leaf, and I was desperate for it. And thanks to High School Club, I was able to get it in Wild World immediately. But obviously, as people know, I've got a wrestling area outside of my house. This place here just kind of exists to house this wallpaper, basically. It's the pride of my collection. But I suppose, you could see it as like a wrestling, like TV studio in which we can all stand around and, hit each other with chairs and like give insulting interviews over the microphone.
Yeah, it works in here with nothing in it. That's the trouble with these
Yeah.
wallpapers, the animated ones. It's difficult to actually put anything in there once they're there, because they sort of stop working as soon as they've got anything next to them in a way.
Yeah, the wallpaper is so cool in of itself that you just kind of keep looking at it. It kind of dominates the room.
I remember a few people have like I can't remember which stream each one was on, but a few people have got like pretty sparse rooms that show off ones. Like I remember Ed, was it you? Did you have the lava floor room?
No, not me.
Oh, maybe it was Mina actually. There's like that has like all the kind of subterranean like style animated things. That looks great. Other people, we've seen loads of natural bathrooms with the kind of light stream on the floor. I love all that stuff. Does anybody have a particularly favourite animated wallpaper?
I like the cloud flooring. That's quite versatile.
Yeah, I was going to
like
say that
can
one.
work in any room.
Oh yeah, we saw a lovely bathroom recently with that like cascading over the floor. So dreamy. There was nothing to look in here, so I'll take you to the remaining rooms. Like I said, it's all incomplete stuff, everybody. I feel a little bit embarrassed, but I feel like it was about. I don't want to hide it from you anymore. You know what I mean? I want you to see the mess this island is in, so you can experience the improvements with me as we move into the next set of streams.
So, Martin, what we say to our guests is, because often our guests are quite worried about the state of their islands, and every island is a work in progress. Most people can't. We don't know what's in your mind. So to us, like if you'd taken me to this room, I would have thought this was complete.
Oh, in which case you should come into this room.
Oh, okay.
What's it going to be?
This is probably my best room.
What?
So originally, this room just contained the moon, and then because I wanted it to be some kind of like esoteric like religious space, and then it was completely black with the moon illuminating the room. And then I thought, well, wouldn't it be amazing if I like made star wallpaper? So I did that, and it didn't really look right. And so then I just thought, well, let's just have this little guy in here. I think he's playing KK Disco just to add to the ominous vibes. Oh, can I check? Yeah, it's KK Disco. Any requests?
Not quite as scary then.
I changed it to Dirge. Is that Dirge? Yeah.
It's just the one.
Classic
So is
bird.
this? Hang on. This is a room with no wallpaper.
This
Or
is just a black texture, I think.
Okay. So you can actually have no. I didn't even realise that.
Oh, Alexis says I need that pentagram rug. I do. If anyone wants to send me the pentagram rug, I'll make this room fit for Satan by the next time we see it. Anyway, there's that room.
That's like the idea that it's just
Like
the
a
void.
statement of some kind.
Screeching Weasel says he thinks he's been to this exhibit at the Barbican. down in that very bottom room. You know the one. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. Where they put the sensory stuff. We've all been in that room. Alexa says KK Disco's her fave from her very first KK concert. That's sweet. Come in this room. It's the classic. Everybody's got one. It's the Eternal Child room. In this room. Come on in, everybody.
Love it.
You see, there's not enough arcade seats because I've used them in the podcast studio, but I think, barring the pinball machines, this is a complete collection of all the arcade games. Obviously, I love games. You might have guessed, and this room is like an absolute like audio assault when you walk in it. I'm not sure how that's sounding on the stream.
But multiple cabinets for Fight Town, so you can have multiplayer games.
Exactly. I really wanted to have the kind of face-to-face, like Astro City style cabinets for I guess fake fighting game tournaments. Also, we pointed this out before, but the arcade stuff looks so good in the dark. Like Philippa's illuminated face right now. She looks intense. Anyway, you've all seen rooms like this. My Pet Roxy says the cacophony is part of the aesthetic. It really is. Like, there's nothing quite like walking into an arcade and just feeling a bit sick from all the noises that you're hearing.
Sensory overload.
Torford Dust is looking like. Oh, sorry. I think I broke up for a second there. I broke up for a second, and then I stepped all over Joe's Evo Chun-Li versus Ken joke that he was dropping there for all the fighting game heads in the chat. There's not upstairs. I've got something interesting to say about the upstairs. Maybe. I feel very self-conscious doing this stream.
Now you know what it's like to be a guest on the stream.
It's for so much pressure. Okay, so this room is special because over here in this kind of corner that I'm in, this is when we were putting together the drag race homage that we ran on Tootle Bay with people I know. We were originally going to shoot other segments of the drag queens like in a confessionals style environment. So Judith started to put together this workroom upstairs in my house, meant to kind of resemble the workroom in Drag Race. Alexis has never seen this wallpaper. The wallpaper is really fantastic. It used to actually be better, but I started removing things in order to facilitate this over here, which was when I was considering, well, should we because there's more guests, should we kind of do a kind of talk show style thing tonight? But obviously I opted for just sticking the extra chair around the table of the studio. That felt a little bit better. But yeah, this is kind of, so I guess this is kind of like my TV studio, I suppose.
It really makes me wonder if there is anyone out there like making sitcoms or little television shows using Animal Crossing, because it seems like the perfect game to do that. Well, you can actually, especially now I've got the camera up, you can get rid of the camera.
Exactly. Look at this. Yeah, oh yeah, of course you can.
I'm sure there will be people doing that for sure.
I guess you could use the
This was
studio.
like a salon when I came in.
Oh well, I mean, it still functions as a salon, you know, as long as you want to get dressed up as a glamorous lady.
These egg vanity unit things. It's been so long since I'd even bothered to look at any of the egg stuff, because we all got so sick of egg stuffs. We wouldn't dream of even considering them. And I thought they were avocados.
Oh yeah. They do. I think it's also the fact that they've got the what I'm going to assume is a bottle of perfume on them that kind of looks kind of like a. Oh, what am I talking about? It's the big mirror that looks like the avocado pip, not the. What am I talking about? Oh yeah. So it's sorry. Alexis and Dim in the chat are reminding us that there is, of course, the talk show, Animal Crossing show, which interviewed Elijah Wood. And also I've seen a few other like TV shows kind of replicated in Animal Crossing, and we were first to market with a drag race one though, so you know we'll hold on to
market with a chat show, but we were evolving our studio with the game, so we started off in a tent.
That's right, everybody. You know, we do it all for the 21 viewers here on Twitch. You know, on YouTube though, they're running rampant, getting thousands of views.
We didn't cheat by already being a successful TV writer, former editor of a magazine, and having loads of celebrity friends. No?
Pulled yourselves up by your bootstraps.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We earned these 20 viewers.
Exactly. It's the intimate environment for the club.
But anyway, I think you ran down into the basement there. It's about the natural order when you go around. It's like, what's in the basement? We've been in the basement.
It's the one place that we've seen on the island. So, I guess so. We're out here. I'll wait till everybody gets out. Obviously, you can see some distressing things to the front of the frame. So at the moment we're in kind of what I would describe as the cheaper neighborhood on the island. I live here. It's the original kind of neighborhood that first set up when I got access to terraforming controls. I live next door to my best friend Rowan, who Philippa was insulting about when she saw him on the island when she arrived.
I just thought it looked like he had his pants on, that's all. And it does look like that.
He's still over here wandering around.
Oh, there he is.
From behind you can't see the pants, it's from the front.
We can see him in the background. I love Rowan.
He's sort of hiding in the bushes over there.
So this is the cheaper neighbourhood of the two neighbourhoods on the island. As you can see, I bought some turnips recently and forgot to sell them, and then I left them on the ground because Sammy had that hot tip about having a place where ants can spawn during bug-offs. And I just haven't picked them up. You're going to find there's a lot of stuff strewn about the floor over here. Over here's Midge. Midge showed up one day, uninvited.
As midgets do.
And she's very slowly becoming one of my faves. She was helped out a lot by showing up to 2 people's birthday parties in 1 week and being the only guest at both. So she's got a sweetheart. She's trying to come up with topics of conversation for Ed and Philippa. So yeah, this is like I said, this is the smaller neighbourhood. And question I got for I'm going to throw it at Shrinky is what have you done? Well, in your case, maybe this is a very loaded question. How have you kind of arranged or not your residence? What goes into your thinking behind this? Now you have so much control out here in the open.
I was undecided, so I grouped them together for ease of access and for community. So I had on the front coast of my island near my house, I've got a few houses. Then on the other side of the coast, on the other side, I've got a few houses. And then I thought it's a bit boring if I just clump them all together. So I'm gonna put a few. I had one that's like a woodland shack out in the middle of nowhere, and another one that's kind of on a hill near that. But the problem is that I forget to visit the ones that are more isolated.
Well, that's
that's got me into trouble before. So I do feel a bit bad about that.
But assumedly, within the kind of lore that builds around that character on your island, the ones that want to live in a more separated way probably less likely to want guests, right?
Well, sometimes it's appropriate. I felt like Kyle, it kind of suited him, but for other villages, it hasn't really worked out that way. But I'm not going to go around moving it because, again, I'm such an old school player. It doesn't even enter my head that I could move that. And it seemed like a lot of work to do it. So I'll just gradually make sure I include them on my rounds.
So Torpor Dust in the chat says he loves the picket fences. Feel very nice and Americana-y. I guess that is what I was going for. I wanted to create kind of. I've never lived in a suburb like ever, so it's like I wanted to kind of create that a kind of like low-end suburb, I guess. Like to imagine the villagers have built they hammered their own fence posts into the ground and all that. Alexis says that she's moved every villager house at least twice. It is a lot of work. As you'll see, I've got some displaced villagers on the island who haven't been moved into a proper space yet, which you'll see. Another thing I wanted to chat about, talking about the island design, is the kind of, because we have all this control now to shape the whole island, and we have like dominion over all of the residents, where they live, and the bridges and all that stuff. I was wondering, do we feel like the game now is like less of a life sim and more of like an environment creator, kind of like a massive version of the Happy Home Designer game? Philippa, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I never played the Happy Home Designer one, so I'm not sure how that one went down really. But yeah, it's a massive change when you think about the last one, when you'd unlock like one thing and it would take ages, and now you can just put anything anywhere more or less. So it's a massive change. And then even when I got terraforming, it's like, well, I'm not going to use this because it's just too much. Like, I would rather be sort of constrained to very limited things and work around it. But actually, once you get into it, it's really fun, but it is very different to the other games. It sort of takes away from some of the other stuff, really, because you're sort of building away and shoving your villagers out of the way and getting annoyed at them, and it's like, oh, I forgot they're meant to be the main thing.
I remember when I used to like log onto the game and be like, oh, Curly's talking to me, I love you, Curly. Oh, what funny stuff is Curly going to say today? And now every time I speak to a villager, they're like, you haven't spoken to me in a while. I'm like, oh my god, I've been too busy building the baseball field. Speaking of building things, here originally in this kind of building site, which I think I stole the idea off of Ben Cameron, who was making like real like undeveloped property around places that he wanted to develop in future. This was originally the museum, and I wanted to have the museum and the shop next to each other for easy kind of fossil offloading. Like if the museum doesn't want it, then they can sell it in the shop. But I started to slowly, thanks to this stream, become jealous about where other people had placed their museums and all the wonderful like museum grounds, and so I've moved my museum somewhere else. But I've only just done that, so that's kind of a starting project too.
So this is reserved for a future. You're making the assumption it's going to be a future shop.
Well, I might put if I do the mall project, I might put the mall here. You can see down here, I kind of have this like started to make a kind of market stall area, but I'm struggling to kind of make it feel good, look good. I maybe need some tips from people on how to kind of build this market stall area out to seem nicer. What the really tough part is that I think almost everything in Animal Crossing looks better facing forward, and here I wanted to kind of give a sense that there's people working here, but of course there's nobody working here. I guess I could put like a, you know how some people use the dress mannequin to look like a employee. Maybe I could do that.
Customer.
I quite like being able to see the little boxes underneath, because normally you don't actually see that side, do you? And that's like a little special detail.
It's one of the there's so many like extra details that you would never even notice because they're so small or hidden in this, that it does feel nice to kind of see them. So, Alexis likes to use a raccoon statue. Of course, we saw that. That is cool. Alexis says faces to the camera regardless of practicality. That's somehow how I feel. Ho says that she preferred more decisions made for her because she likes the feeling of being part of something bigger rather than it being the overlord. I think I probably lean towards Ho's direction. I think we've lost something. We've gained so much. Like, obviously, I'm not complaining. It's great to be able to like make all this stuff outdoors. But I feel like maybe the pendulum has swung a little bit too far in the favour of giving you ultimate control. And I kind of.
I agree. I definitely think that. I think it would still be cool if villagers sort of left of their own volition sometimes as well. I know that was a thing in New Leaf, right? They could just up sticks and go.
I'm with you.
I'd hate it, but the drama would be enjoyable.
Yeah, and it'd be genuinely upsetting. In fact, but that's part of a life sim, right? You're playing a genuine life sim, and you've got to have the ups and downs. You can't just control everything in your life.
Well, I suppose otherwise it's all on a level. But this, so maybe I should unveil my grand theory, theory about this pendulum swing. So, you know, what you're talking about, the incredible amount of detail they've put into the boxes in the back of the stalls, and all of us, you know, acknowledging that maybe the villagers don't seem to have quite the same amount depth of personality as they have done previously. Is that fair to say?
Is that true, or is that do we just have the kind of rose tinted glasses of the older games?
True. So I'm always going back and looking at the older games and thinking about all the seasonal events and so on. And I think the difference is that the older games were really designed as solo play experiences, and you have this world that you're participating in. They're quite limited in the number of things that you can do, but the kind of variety they provide is by having lots and lots of special events. Like, there are way more one-off events in the older games, lots of things that are out of your control, and lots of dialogue. And obviously, you know, I think the emphasis of this game is all the social. You know, the characters. You're not relying on NPCs in the same way, because you're seeing other real people, and all of the stuff you can design outside is so that you can go, you know, there's stuff to talk about, and there's shared experiences you can have with other people. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just the game is different now.
It's a different emphasis, isn't it?
Yeah, the emphasis is on social and collaboration and sharing and I think all the great things with recipes and materials and all of that stuff.
Yeah, they're definitely, and a lot of the updates are kind of where you kind of get specific items that only you get, and then, or you get the Nook Mile stuff, and it's kind of, you have a unique set for your island. So they're really encouraging you to try and trade with people on that as well. And and like, so the recipes, they want you to go visit other people's islands or to post stuff to them. So they're really pushing that as a shared experience. I think it would be, I mean, it's been really great to play this game with other people. It's the first time I didn't really get the opportunity of New Leaf, but playing it, it's obvious that that's how you want you to experience the game. I think it would be a strange experience to try and play this version of Animal Crossing solo. You know.
Yeah,
it would still have its charms. Yeah, but you'd be missing out on, I think, what a lot of the what they wanted to emphasise this time.
But they
Anyway,
clearly
my
wanted to use the
theory.
stalk market and stuff as well, don't they? Because a lot of the kind of bell goals in the game are very hard to meet unless you're using the stalk market. I think.
Yeah.
Whereas I think in older games maybe it was more feasible to just opt
Wow.
out of that side of it. I don't know. Maybe that's not true. But...
You just had to really grind for those bells. Well, and the stock market did exist, but it was hard to really win big unless you had a good network.
Now you can guarantee returns pretty much, can't you? If you've got a big enough group of people.
For sure. Alexis says that she's only in the Overlord life, so she's into it. Dim also agrees that he doesn't feel like the villagers don't have nearly enough agency. He wants them to have hobbies and get annoyed and stuff. And I think, like, I don't know how the three of you feel, but as with almost every other Animal Crossing game, I would have been happy with the exact same thing as the GameCube title, just with a few extras, like has been the way up until this game, pretty much. So I would have been happy if we didn't have all of this outside customization. But it feels like now we have all this, the next step for them is to maybe improve the developers, is to maybe improve the AI of the villagers. It would be cool to see them have a lot more richness in their interactions, I guess. But I'm still very happy to see them. Certainly not ungrateful, because there's so much extra stuff in this game, as is evidenced here in this kind of plaza area. There's a sleeping crap on the ground that's not there for any reason other than the fact that I ran out of inventory space at some point.
I couldn't tell what that was. I thought it was like a ghost or something at some point.
It's the sleeping cat
You
from
expect to see.
because as everybody knows, my inventory is almost full to the brim with trees and flowers normally.
Yeah, I'm seeing it now. I can see it on the.
It's terrifying. Oh, hello. Sorry, over here we've got Bonbon. She's a pop star type. I've got 2 pop stars here on the island. The other one is Flora.
Did Bonbon move from Ireland?
I want to say Bonbon is from Palcatraz, but I can't remember. It's been too long.
If you speak to her, won't she say she remembers you?
Yeah. David, speak to her.
She does know my name. It's Shrinky. Welcome to Steen, she said.
Oh, that's lovely.
Look at that.
Reunited.
Old friends.
Maybe a bit awkward because she did leave.
Yeah. Due to my mismanagement.
Oh,
who knows?
Did you leave under a cloud, or was it?
Screeching weasels dropped. Imagine if the villagers could also change the island. I would be into that. I would like them to have dominion over their backyards and stuff like that. At least that.
I think that would be
Chaos.
a rogue AI just meddling with your layout would be amazing.
Yeah, unleashing a load of toddlers on the place. But I would like to see what damage Axel would do. Definitely.
We're getting there. AI is improving. It might happen. So over here, of course, is I want to thank everybody in High Score Club, because you made my dream a reality pretty early on of having an outdoor wrestling area. As you can see, flowers have overgrown the area completely unintentionally. I should probably scale these flowers back, but they grow, and I always think I'll prune the flowers later and I'll make it nice later, but I still haven't. So this is my outdoor wrestling area. I'm actually missing.
Who's in the background?
Who's in the background?
Behind your wrestling area.
Oh, it's Lucha. Well, that's because Lucha's house is at the back of the wrestling arena. We'll chat to Lucha. See, look, I talked to Lucha. He knows we've got visitors. He wants people to move here to drive up the prices. He's so avaricious. But yeah, so this is the wrestling ring. It's one of those things, like we always say, that I wish it was more interactable. I wish I could stand in it all I want to do is stand in it. But instead, as we all know, the ring is a bed. So it's actually 4 beds stapled together. Sammy says she doesn't want anybody touching her bug collection because she works so hard. This is like we're all on the canvas after a very, very disastrous wrestling move has happened.
Okay.
You can sort of grab the outside of it and like sort of pull, like you're going to flip into the ring.
Yeah.
You can roll across the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Do it.
Well, I hope.
Yeah, I'd pay serious money to be able to get in this ring and actually throw down.
I'd like Nintendo to bring back their long forgotten professional wrestling franchise to and bring some of that gameplay to this ring. I would like that. Oh, Mac posted Sammy a wrestling corner this morning. Maybe it was a hint. And people I know say Shrinky would make a great heel. So if you don't know wrestling speak, that means a villain, and he would do as well.
Oh.
Anyway, so that's that. You know, it's just a wrestling ring. You know, but it makes me happy.
Well, yeah. I mean, this is, and I love the audience. You've really got space for a good size audience here as well.
It's one of those things though where there's a little bit of kind of Animal Crossing trickery going on, like a kind of Animal Crossing quirk that bugs me, and that is in order to look kind of semiotically correct, or not semiotically, rather like correct in terms of like relative sizes. The front row of seats on either side is too close to actually sit on, and actually the back row of seats either. The only ones you can sit on are these ones at the front. There are 4, so we can at least.
What?
We can't.
Luke,
Yeah.
It's awkward when you have to play something and then it becomes unusable.
It's a big. Yeah, it troubles me. There's a bunch of that stuff on the island. I'll show you some more stuff in a second. That's like.
It's what people...
It feels like you're creating dioramas, right, rather than necessarily environments.
Yeah, it troubles me, but I'll live with it because I want this wrestling ring. So moving out of the wrestling ring area, I'm just going to take you to the other kind of big project. This one is more unfinished. And we have to go down here past Able Sisters. I also kind of feel like I need more benches to make this promenade feel more promenade-y. Mentioned before, like I'm from the seaside in real life, so I'm eager to kind of have a seaside-like setting. Anyway, over the bridge, here's the other big feature of the island, which you can see on the map.
Wow!
Visibly, it's my baseball field.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big space commitment, and as you can see, I've tossed a bunch of stuff I didn't have pocket space for here currently.
Random fish.
It's just a fish.
Baseball League currently isn't in session.
DIYs. Bunny Day fence.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you want any of these DIYs, you please have them because these
I'm
ones.
going to drop mine to the pile for everyone to
Yeah.
I've got some good ones here.
So the idea here is obviously it's a big space commitment for the island, but I really wanted to have it. You can see in the background also there's even more space taken up by what will be the seating. And I want to see if I can make a scoreboard, but I don't know how possible that'll be with the amount of textures that I probably need to get in order to make the island look nice. But yeah, the host pointing out the painted lines, it's really cool because I'd kind of forgotten that you could add transparency to the designs, and early on I was like, I had a brainwave. Obviously everybody knows this. I'm just behind the curve. Philippa, what have you dropped?
All sorts of stuff. There's one autumn one in there, pile of leaves.
Oh, I'd love an autumn pile of leaves.
There's the underwater flooring,
Oh.
that's the summer one.
I defo want jail bars.
That's a classic. So many possibilities.
Underwater flooring. Oh, manga library
That's
wall. I
what's
want
on
that.
there. You've got your manga wall.
Oh,
I've
what's
already
this?
forgotten what else was in there. Pansy table, that's a good one.
What's the
Money
saw
flooring.
meter?
Money flooring is a
Oh.
legendary flooring. It's something like
Money flooring is good.
50,000 bells is the ingredient, but specifically 50,000. So if you've got more, it won't let you make it. So you have to have the actual bag of exactly 50,000.
I've got so many recipes now, Philippa. Thank you for that.
I
So
put
that,
them down here as well. Don't miss the traditional straw coat.
oh, where's that?
You can make it out of weeds, which is what I did when I was
Oh,
on
yes.
a Nook Miles tour. I'm standing on it here.
Oh, nice.
Lots of Bunny Day stuff.
Wait. Oh yeah, you got to get the traditional straw coat. So anyway, this is a big space commitment, and I did almanar over it. I'm a big man child. I love wrestling. I love baseball, and as everybody knows, I see the residents on the island as members of the baseball team here. Also, thank you to Mr. Tomatoma for following us. I love I just really wanted to kind of a space to make that kind of story about the island, like a place for it to exist in, I guess, and that's why I really loved seeing Matty's football field / soccer field on Matty's island tour. But because this is such a big space commitment, I did think, and actually you can't really play on the baseball field. I think what I want to do is kind of make this in its final form be kind of like an open day at the baseball field, and maybe like have a market set up on the field, so it still kind of retains the kind of visual appearance of like a sports ground, but maybe it has something else going on in it. So like if you come and visit the island, you won't. There's more to do. Also, because of the game systems regarding the rocks, new rocks tend to spawn here on the baseball field. So I frequently have to.
Hazard.
I bet your fossils are always here as well, and your little golden thingy,
Yeah.
little money pit, whatever you want to call it.
Well, as you can see, I've got a lot of money trees in my pockets. So that's my baseball field. So
I love that you can see it on the map as well. Like it's very clearly a baseball field on the map. It's
that's
really
to be honest, the baseball field got bigger than I'd intended it to be, because the diamond. The diamond itself. I love baseball. I love baseball fields. There's a series of like Sega baseball management games where there's lots of like tiny like dioramas of Japanese baseball stadiums, which I really like in a kind of like I guess like the same way you like miniatures, you know, kind of like looking at them and looking at those models in the game. And there's just something that didn't look right about the baseball field because it didn't have like a surrounding patch of dirt, and so like I had to add the dirt, and that led to it getting bigger, and so on and so on. And so it takes up more space than it needs to.
So no, it's cool. I love it.
Also, Matty's mentioning that his football pitch not only takes up a lot of space, but it has 22 design slots attached to it. Obviously, there's a lot of round. You need to have that round shape in the middle, which is must be a ton of slots. I see people also that have made really amazing indoor basketball arenas, which look great. So I'm really into all of that. Okay, so over here, this is originally. So you're about to enter some really undeveloped stuff. So over here was meant to be kind of a locker room area, and there was meant to be a cutaway in the hill where you could go and see like the kind of a dugout or like a locker room area of the baseball. But like I mentioned before, I just feel a bit weird about having indoor spaces outdoors in Animal Crossing, so I kind of am waiting until I feel a bit more comfortable with that to put it in there. Lots of seating. You can sit on this seating, which is good. This has moved so many times. Originally there was seating on 3 sides of the baseball grounds, but I decided to ultimately stack it all together here. You can see already if you look up, there's meant to be more, but it's kind of undeveloped. So maybe I'll take you up there later. And that's that really.
Satellite dish.
Of course, got the parabolic up there.
The live feed.
Before I terraformed everything beyond all recognition, this was like a gyroid observatory station, and the parabolic antenna is like the remnant of that. I'd like to bring it back, but you'll see basically this whole column up the right side of the island is undeveloped because I'll get to that. I'll get to that.
I only noticed recently that satellite dish actually like is moving sometimes.
Yeah,
I was turning it on.
Yeah, I was shocked at that too. Over here, you can treat yourself to one of the only floor texture on the island. It's right here. It's
Just one piece.
I'm going to work on it.
It looks nice.
Matty says, was I scanning the skies for gyroids? Yeah, I like to believe that because gyroids haven't made a significant appearance outside of Lloyd, I wanted to kind of build that into like my interest in the game. Like, we are looking for gyroids because they're strangely missing from the world. So over here,
will they ever appear?
They've got to appear.
A pine cone.
First
Quick,
try.
Get it, Martin.
Oh, Philippa shook it. She should have it.
Get it. It's yours.
All right, thank you.
That's
Oh no,
a
if it's on the branch. Oh, that's like a Alanis Morissette ironic lyric. I meant to get. Anyway, sorry. I don't know. I was thinking about Alanis Morissette earlier. So
On
over
the
here.
subject of gyroids. So my theory is there's got to be a big update for October because there's no way there's not going to be a Halloween event.
No
I just
way.
can't imagine that there won't be a Halloween event. So therefore they've got to do some kind of update, and I reckon
Gyroid invasion.
they've got it, and they've also either it's going to be now or not until spring, one of the two. Because gyroids, you find them after rain, so you need to have a good
Yeah.
Rainy season.
We've decided it's not called spring, by the way. It's called grow. Remember, we've got to put it grow.
Oh, sorry, yes, great.
Maybe they're going to pivot the game into being a survival sim, and it's going to be a gyroid invasion, and we've got to just fend off the alien attackers.
Alexis wants Brewster for autumn. We all want Brewster. Cup of coffee in the autumn.
To have the whole, you know,
Exactly.
pumpkin spice latte.
Exactly. And what does Brewster love to collect?
Gyroids.
Gyroid. Yes.
Money.
Money.
He loves He loves
Unpaid workers.
the gigantic margins that you can only get by serving overpriced coffee. So this is my fishing hole. This like kind of pier idea was ripped off from Mina on when we visited Mina's stream. She had a similar thing going on. I wanted to kind of build it into a kind of like deciduous forest style environment. This is also where the campsite is at the moment. Might not be where the campsite ends up, but I like to imagine people that come here to camp, they come to have like a little fishing holiday, I guess.
Feels like a good combo. Makes sense.
Dim makes the observation that Villager and Isabel both use gyroids in their Smash movesets. So, you know, gyroids built to kill.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. Maybe that's what will happen in this game. We'll just hop on the gyroids and shoot around the world like hoverboards.
Do you have your ladders? Question.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay, so I'll just take you up into this very undeveloped part over here. So this is all. So over here's Red's Beach. And even though I said, I feel a bit weird about indoor-outdoor zones, I wanted to kind of make this area here. I want to make it like a little cave, and I want to fill it full of like, you know, gold ingots and Pirate Gulliver treasure. So it's kind of like Red's kind of like hideaway. So also that means that it's going to be really tough to get to Red. So I haven't really decided on this yet. He might live here.
Luckily, he turns up so infrequently. It'll be even more fun when he does.
I really like also the final tier, being able to build that final tier of vertical land that you can't climb. So I'm trying my best, to kind of make these like peaks. It's very hard to make something feel peaky in Animal Crossing because you always have to have that one square of land to the side of a like a cliff. So
yeah, so it's always like it's the wedding cake every time, isn't it? If you want to have one tall peak.
Can you put an item on top of this?
No, you can't. You can't even climb up there.
You just get a message about it being too dangerous.
Whoa, Dim says if you build a cliff near the sea, you can do a big dive off of it. I did not know that.
Oh yeah.
What? Okay, that changes everything. I'm gonna do that when this is all finished. Anyway, so what I'm going for with this is I want to kind of create a kind of like rocky mountain, like dusty, sandy mountain like area for Nate to live in. Nate originally lived down in the forest near the fishing hole, but I thought he might want to be secluded a little bit more up here in the mountains. So I'm going to try and make a little enclosed space for him to live here. I think that he kind of feels like he's a man of nature. Thought he might like to.
You know what will look good here if you have it? The termite mound.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm getting real Zelda Link's Awakening or the top-down 2D Zelda vibes from this high mountain area.
Get some termite mounds and some fossils, some like assessed fossils. And it's like a bone.
Out there.
Yes. This is next time we visit my island. This is all going to be built. I promise. Question mark. Oh, it's a lost item, and it's a what was this again? Lost item. Don't judge me. So this is the remnants of the Gyroid Observatory station. For some reason, there's a shark here. I guess I ran out of pocket spice at some point. Everything. So any time you see a lot of stuff strewn on the ground, it's because I ran out of space in my pockets due to all the trees.
I'd rather think it was for mysterious reasons.
Yeah.
Try and piece together what it was.
So it's like you're performing some kind of weird spell where you've got your shark and your shells and you're sort of trying to contact the aliens with them or something.
I love how we visit other people's islands and like, oh, I made a soccer ground, I made a tattoo shop, I made, the world's best like cake cafe, and I'm just like, here's my pile of stuff because I'm lazy and disorganized. So anyway, taking you away from this messy area, back on track. Sammy thinks the shark works there. That I like to believe that. You know how like they say we know more about outer space than we do about the seafloor. So maybe the shark has some kind of like knowledge about extraterrestrials that we can hope to possess. Ho's also ashamed of me for not returning the item. I'm very sorry, Ho. That does happen from time to time. So up here, Lloyd is here. I'm building a bridge across this part of the waterfall. There's undeveloped land to the south. I won't take you there because we've already seen enough undeveloped land, but I want to build something there in future. Maybe if the cafe is standalone, maybe the cafe spot. We'll see. Also, I was shocked to see that my villagers had donated 600 bells, and I only made this bridge yesterday.
Oh, wow.
So that was great of them. Because normally I just build the bridge and pay it off outright, but I am running low on turnip funds. So up here is like the peak of the island, I guess. It's kind of a... Now I know you can jump off the edge of it. I shouldn't have built these rails. But yeah, this is the very top of the island. There's something to the south of us, which I'll show you when we get there.
This looks really nice, actually.
I just
It's very
yeah.
nautical. It feels like I'm on a ferry or...
Oh.
Like, yeah, it feels safe.
It actually reminds me weirdly of like so my dad was a gardener, and wait, what's the word I'm looking for? Being a gardener was his job, it wasn't his hobby, and he used to take me to him for work in the summer. So rather than, because there was no, they had to do something with the kid, I would go with my dad to it was self-employed to go and do all the gardens that he had contracts for, and one of them was on like a cliff edge, and this just reminds me of that. That I've got nothing else to say about that. It just makes me happy. It's like a childhood memory. But I didn't build it intentionally with that in mind. It just ends up
Your
looking like it.
subconscious brought it forward, I think.
Exactly. Also, the place I first tasted Dr. Pepper, which I well, as a chubby fellow, you can imagine that my love of soda runs deep, and it probably started there. More items on the floor, everybody. If you want one of these, medicine. Oh, Ed, medicine. Yeah, take it there. Take it. That's yours.
You know what? I don't think I've got this recipe. Let's try it out. I think I'm so prepared. I already know this recipe. I do know.
You just ignored the villager that was trying to help you.
I just ignored them. No, I always have medicine on me. I always have it on me, so I don't.
So again, stuff on the floor. You know why it's there. So this is kind of the fancy bit of town. This is the fancy neighbourhood. Needs more work. Needs more amenities. Probably needs better.
I can tell it's fancy because of the street lamps.
Yes, it's got some street lamps. This is where I wanted to only move characters here that were a bit kind of snooty, or maybe they looked like they had expensive taste. But ultimately, Hazel, who's the salt of the earth, I moved her up here as a reward for me taking terrible care of her house area, which you might see in a second. But this is where a lot of people live. We've got Flora here, I think. Is it Flora? I hope it's Flora. Flora originally had a bigger garden, but ultimately I felt the neighbourhood looked weird with one house having more space than the others. And yeah, I think this could also be a spot where I build the cafe if we get to build a standalone cafe. I feel like it's a fancy area. There's like a communal bench space over here that I felt like it looked at home. Very classy. Matty's asking, do I hate flowers? It's more that I haven't... For me, like flowers, I see them as like a finishing touch, and because everything else is unoccupied... Sorry, everything else is unfinished. It's like I haven't added flowers yet, so you'll see there's like a lot of like dead space where things could be more ornate, and I need to work on that.
There are flowers here, aren't there? Nice flower beds.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, down here is one of the places where I was like, okay, this looks good now.
We saw them early on near your airport. You've got the hedged off flower beds as well.
That is true. When you see flowers, they'll normally be in like these hedge style patterns. But there are some flowers placed intentionally wildly that you'll see in a minute. Okay, down here's probably my favourite place on the island. It's a park. It's like a kind of place to sit and have lunch. It's dinosaur themed because it's a shame to not have these fossils out. My Triceratops is missing a tail, so if anybody has the Triceratops tail, I would love one to complete this statue. Originally there were stairs here, but you see there's tons of stairs around the island, and I ran out of space, so that's why this is blank. Yeah, I like to imagine the villagers coming here, eating their lunch. I wanted to kind of I probably will do this. Put like the chess tables on benches out here to give that kind of like.
That'd
be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, like that kind of New York street chess vibe. Is that a vibe?
That's a vibe, but also, as Ho was saying on the chat, like a kind of bit of a Parisian park.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Those outdoor games as well.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. It's just my favourite place. It makes me happy to stand here, and it was the first place that Judith, my wife, complimented on the island. So I'm like, yeah, this is the good bit. Okay, this is up here is where I moved the museum to.
By the way, though, Martin, if you ever want to do hide and seek on this island, I'd hide behind this Triceratops.
Spoiler alert! We'll easily find you now.
Oh no! Oh, look, that's really good actually. Make sure you don't get a coprolite on you. So yeah, up here, and ignore the butterfly on the ground again. That was a problem. So down here is where I put the museum, and let me just aim the camera like this. So everybody else has really like auspicious, wonderful museum spaces, and mine was just next to the shop for ages. So I finally moved it down here, and there's nothing going on at the moment, but what I would like the kind of story of this area to be is kind of like, this is where like the meteorite that wiped out the dinosaurs struck. And
that's cool.
For there to be kind of like star fragments around here, and maybe some other stuff of that nature, and so that's why the museum's set up here, and this is where like the fossil examination happens. I think like the white flowers are magical, so I kind of thought like if I plant a whole bunch of white flowers around here, it might add to the kind of like magical deep meteor energy vibes, but again it's incomplete. I'm sorry everybody.
I think it looks cool.
It's giving me like sort of Zelda fairy fountain vibe somehow with the shape of it, and all these sort of the white flowers floating around slightly.
I didn't mean to go in the museum.
I think it's quite unusual as well. Like, most people have kind of put their museums on top of the mountain, right? I don't think I've seen any like in a crater like this. That's really cool.
And you got the layering. We're going all the way up to the hedge at the top. That looks really good.
Yeah. I wanted that hedge to be there for the extra height, but there's not enough room to build an extra like cliff back there. But I could get the hedge in. So there was that. But my museum, as everybody will know, is not the most well furnished museum, and I don't even want to show people my Critterpedia, but I will do, so you can judge me.
How many times have you actually got into the museum, like onto the exhibits?
Very few. So yeah, that's the thing. Sorry, if you haven't seen the stream in a while, or I've never in my game gone into the insects or the fish, because I haven't collected enough of them there, which you can see if you look at my Critterpedia. It's really shameful. Don't judge me.
Not even to get the plaques in the special thing with the stamps and that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry. I did do that. Sorry, you're right. When I was saying it, when I was saying it, I was like, have I done this? No, you're right. I did do it, but there was nothing in them, and that's why I don't remember them. Yes, that's all there is to see here, really. But I hope to one day go back and visit outside of the stamp rally when I've collected more. Yeah, I think this is pretty much my island, everybody. I'm sorry that it's so incomplete, but it's like full of potential, right?
It is.
I think it's really cool.
I love your little dinosaur park. You made out like we were going to be sickened with mess everywhere. I was slightly sickened by these rotten turnips, I have to say.
I'm so sorry.
The smell alone, but you've got lots of nice, unique little zones.
It just needs more work and more love, and I aim to, by the time we're through with the next batch of streams, island tours, maybe this will be in a better place, and I'll probably need to beg people for parts and stuff on
Do you-
Discord.
Do you think doing the streams is giving you like lots of ideas from other people's islands?
It's
like inspired you.
Oh, for sure. Like I mentioned, I'm just really bad at like starting things and not finishing them. But I will say that there's been so much like insight into kind of environmental design on other people's streams, and even if I wouldn't necessarily make what other people have made, there are certain things that I've learnt about through doing other people's islands, especially, and this isn't present on my island yet, but we've seen, and I think this was really, really good on Mary and Ed's island, was the way that like lots of different ground textures have been layered to create kind of realistic kind of like environments. I want to do that. And also I learn, I always say how I feel like a bit queasy about making indoor spaces outdoors, but so many people on the streams and on the tours have done that really well. Like I think of Christena's like a bookshop a lot, or library even, which was like I feel like I'm indoors, but I think that's because that space is quite big, so I trying to keep like those thoughts in mind. There's too much stuff, but everybody is like made such amazing islands. Like obviously Philippa's like murder mystery, another highlight, and she's completely redoing your island, right, Philippa?
That's right. I have a new thing that I'm doing, and I've entirely moved everything around. I think there's only 1 or 2 buildings that have stayed in the same place.
Wow.
And it's a huge task, bigger than I kind of counted on, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of want to do that on my island, but I'm also worried that I'll start and then I'll get disheartened, and then I'll end up with half an island, or like.
It's the flowers, because there's so many flowers.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to even get rid of them because a lot of them are purple or blue or whatever. So it's like move loads of them takes ages, and then you got to move them again. My top tip is, if you really want to do it, you got to just put an audio book on or a podcast or something, so that you can do it whilst you're doing something else, because it's extremely tedious.
It's really interesting that you say that, because I was saying yesterday to somebody else that I can't. So I'd say my job is like maybe about like, I want to say let's say like 60% data orientated and maybe like 40% creative, but I can't multitask when there's a creative task, but I can multitask when it's like moving data around, that kind of thing, and like moving your whole Animal Crossing island. To me, it does feel like what when you're like copying and pasting like bits of information from one like spreadsheet cell to another. It has that same kind of like
it's a really awkward user interface as well. But that's the weird thing, that kind of the awkwardness of the interface. Copying, it kind of makes it.
And it's the same button to sort of add or remove, and then cut corners off of, blocks of cliff or whatever. It's just, it can be so annoying.
But when you finish, I'm always like really happy with what I've done, because it's like so mundane, and it feels like a mundane task, and then you get it done, and you're like, I'm actually really proud in a weird way of doing it.
The work's gone in. Yeah,
because you actually put work in, like really boring work, and I think that's a feeling that only Animal Crossing. Well, maybe I'm sure there are other games that do it as well, but Animal Crossing really captures that really well and makes it into like a game loop that you want to do, and
it just feels. It just feels so. When you like wipe a blackboard or a whiteboard, and that feeling of satisfaction, and I get that. I get the same kind of feeling a lot from this game when I've cleared areas, which is like really perverse, given that it takes so much time to like arrange everything properly. Alexis says that she chucks flowers out all the time, even blue roses.
Oh my goodness!
Bring those blue roses over here. I'll take them.
Yeah, bring them to me. I'll sell them on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I've only got a few. I've never actually got into the flower ground really. I'm a horrible cheat, and I get Sammy to just send me.
Well, send me the flowers. People I know on the chat are saying that he's stopped playing because there's just too many flowers on his island, and saying maybe he'll ask High Score Club to pop over and help dig them up. And actually,
I would do that.
Gardening Club
Club, get me round there. Dig them
so
up.
So much strength in numbers, and people seem to be very happy to help each other out. So maybe Philippa as well. You might be able
I'll be
to.
happy to steal your flowers.
Well, other way around. If you need help with, shifting stuff around, maybe other people can come and help.
Right,
Maybe
I have
that
to
might
Great
work.
depart
idea.
everyone because I can hear my babies kicking off.
Oh,
My two
okay.
babies. So I'm going
Ah.
to sneak away to the airport and yeah, I will see you next time.
Thanks for joining us, Philippa.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
So, although it's official, you're promising to debut your new island on the stream, right?
I will. You're going to enjoy it. I'm not going to say too much, but I will tell you this. Some of my ideas in my new island are so controversial that Luke had said to me, "You can't do this. People will be outraged. This will
Oh.
cause a terrible stir and you'll be in trouble." So just bear that in mind.
Oh my goodness me. Philippa, you've been causing trouble since I've known you, and I'm glad that it's going to continue in Animal Crossing.
Right. Well, goodbye, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye, Philippa. Bye.
I love that. And it says, what an amazing forward sizzle for Philippa's Island. Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing whatever happens because you know it's going to be top notch.
Incredibly intrigued.
So now, before we talk to KK, just want to ask you guys, like, what are your... So we've had 6 months of New Horizons. Hesitant to even call it New Horizons anymore. Maybe we should just call it Horizons. What's your hope for the next 6 months of Horizons? What do we've had a little chat about some of the stuff, but what's at the top of your want lists? Oh, sorry, I'm going to angle the question at Ed.
Okay. I just want to see more shops. Really, whether it's a cafe. I think we're going to get a cafe, right? But I'd love to see returns on the shops from New Leaf, like Shampoodle. Be great. I'd love to see an observatory for Celeste. You know, she's one of the top characters. She deserves her own space, I think.
That'd be so
anything
good.
like that. I'd like to see them do have more Isabel stuff. Like, it'd be great if Isabel made more announcements. And it'd be good if they had like town ordinances back, I think, or I like that from New Leaf.
Yeah, town ordinances, so good. It's like maybe if flowers didn't reproduce, that would solve people I know's problems, or even my problems, because I don't know. We skipped a whole bunch of the town, but there's a lot of overgrown like flower areas where I just haven't been pruning them.
Yeah, so I think that would be good because Isabel doesn't really do well. She organised a fireworks show. Sorry, I'll be fair to her, but
that is true. I think
she works 24 hours a day.
She does, always on call. But I think I'm not the world's biggest Isabel fan. I like Isabel. Don't get me wrong, I like Isabel, but I kind of resented her becoming the face of Animal Crossing. Ever since she rocks up in New Leaf. She started in New Leaf, right? She was a new character.
Oh, is it New Leaf? Okay.
I think maybe she was started in New Leaf. It's like she became the face of Animal Crossing so quickly, and I just kind of felt she doesn't deserve this. But then, even though I feel that way, I do agree with with all the Isabel fans that it feels like she's gone from having probably the most high pressure agency related job in Animal Crossing to kind of just being a kind of like a dog's body, no pun intended. She needs. It's not that she needs. We need her to lead us into more productivity. I think she needs some kind of higher calling.
Absolutely.
Shrinks, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I'm just looking forward to, like, I do love how most months there's something new, whether it's something small like, new bugs or a change up to the events and so on. So I'm looking forward to seeing how far that takes us. Will there be, there's surely going to be 6 months worth of new content, large and small. What happens after that 6 months, I don't know, but I'm looking forward to still checking in every day. I'm still really glad that I got the download version, not the card version, because I know that I can just quickly turn it on and see what's what. I'm still very curious about the pier. Yep. Surely there's got to be something at the end of that pier one day. Hopefully it might be Cap'n. We might get to see other locations on the on the aircraft as well. We went to Rover's Mystery Island. That was quite fun.
I felt like a tease as well, didn't it?
Did,
a tease or something.
I had it in my head when that happened that we were going to get a new Rover every month, like Rover's like traveling the world. But I reckon we'll see him again. Ho has brought up the OK Motors boys. Obviously, we chat about them a lot. Me and Shrinky normally wear their hat on stream. We need them in our lives, and also she hopes Digby will come visit his sister. What if Digby shows up? Digby takes over for Isabel in the town hall, and Isabel finally gets something worthy of her talent. I don't know what it'll be though. I think. Oh, do you know what I would love? Do you know what I would love? I'd love it if Celeste comes. She has an observatory. She's like the academic, and Isabel is like the museum director. I would love that.
That would be cool.
So we come to the end of the tour. We should chat to KK. Does anybody have any requests in the chat? It's the last time we'll hear KK on stream until October. So let's save the spooky. Let's save anything spooky till October. So no KK Dirge requests, ho. Oh, people only wants to know my favourite song. Oh, Sammy wants stale cupcakes. That's a good call. Ho wants techno pop. I like stale cupcakes too, to tell you the truth. Oh, Ico Luke says, no, why no KK till October? Sorry, KK side will be in the game till October, but if you missed the start of the stream, we are taking a break from streaming Animal Crossing until October, so they'll KK Slider will be there.
Although maybe out of respect, he could stay away.
Yeah, it would be a decent thing to do, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Come on, KK. Yeah. So I think I'm going to pick stale cupcakes. Let's hope I can spell it correctly. That's the question for everybody. Should we normally do a poll, but do we think we should start asking people to just pick their favourite song?
I think it depends whether the guest has a very strong opinion or not.
That makes sense.
It's nice to get the mood of the group.
This is the first time the request has been visible on the stream, so the pressure's on me to not show you my terrible typing. Is it stale cupcake? It's stale cupcakes, right? Plural.
Yeah.
Groovy. Then how about
it is always a bit of a risk. He doesn't say, "Oh, I don't know that one."
I know.
He just plays whatever.
He's like me in real life. Afterwards, I hope that was right. Okay, yes, we're here. It's ready. We're ready, KK. Yes.
Here we go.
Oh. Well, everybody, thank you for tuning in. Like I just said, we're going to take a break from the stream for the rest of September. We'll be back again in October. Like I mentioned before, while we're away, we're finally going to put some of the entries together in the New Horizons travel guide over on High School Club website. The URL is on the screen underneath the cart icon right now. And if you want to submit something for that, please go ahead and visit the website and put in a submission. Ed, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you on the internet?
The best place is at Capes and Lasers on Twitter. At Capes and Lasers.
Absolutely rammed with Animal Crossing content.
Yeah, I put stuff on there every day, pretty much.
Ho's put the travel guide URL in the chat. Thank you, Ho. People says he'll miss our voices. You never know. We may do some streaming, but no Animal Crossing Island tours until September. Shrinky, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter at shrinkwrapped and also Instagram, that place. But as always, if you haven't heard of the Animal Crossing podcast I produce, go to highscoreclub.com or the URL on the screen right now and check out the Animal Crossing podcast because, it's about Animal Crossing. So if you like this, you'll probably like that too.
It's like this, except it's much better produced. And I don't say you know every single sentence when I appear on it, or maybe I do actually. That sounds very much like me. I wince listening back to this stream when we pop it on YouTube. Of course, this will be uploaded onto YouTube. We're a little bit behind on our archiving on YouTube, but you should see You should see a couple of new episodes, including Ho's episode from last week, pop up on YouTube soon. Yeah, and yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We hope that you'll join us again in October, and if not, we'll see you on Discord, where the high school club action never stops. And just in case you're tuning in this week you've joined us from watching on YouTube, as threatened always, we pop an invite to the high school club Discord in the chat. I'm just gonna do that now. I should prepare this before, but I don't. There you go, it's in the chat. And yeah, I guess everybody, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you for a whole new series of Animal Crossing Island Tour streams in October. Good night. Oh wait, I had to say the thing. With hope for our continued growth and to celebrate another week of New Horizons, this has been Town. Good night, everybody.
Now cut us off mid-exit. Goodbye.
Bye.